To your creator who's struggling right now, this video is for you. Welcome back to my channel, my loves. When I have a conversation with most creatives, they all have this one thing in common. I can't seem to get started, or I start, but I can't seem to keep going or stay consistent. Something that our society robs a creator of realizing is that their rhythm is not incorrect, but a self-actualization, slow recognition of their inherent rhythmic nature. Most creatives forget that they continue to create no matter how much time has passed or how long it takes them to come back to their creations. You don't have a discipline issue. You have an identity issue. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If this video found you, I'm so glad that it did. This is something I want to talk about very deeply. In my work, in my line of work, there is this phenomenon with creators refusing to trust who they can't help but be. Every single creator struggles right before they take the next step, right before they become the version that they want to be. We're not given the safety to acknowledge and honor our stops. In this society, it's demonized to stop. It's demonized to rest. It's demonized to not keep going, to not keep producing. So when a creative stops, they often make that mean that they're inconsistent, not productive. And in this, their self-trust breaks. They often fail to acknowledge how they continuously always creates, but focus on all the times that they stop creating and make that mean that they're not. Because of this, most creatives downplay how often they create, because appear as successful as a creative creates this illusion and this myth that we need this like vast and mass public approval, public visibility to be seen as valid and purposeful. This sends a creator down a psychological trap where they equate the myth of high rising, quick fame with this egocentric pursuit of validation. And because that doesn't align with the creative's true purpose, true values, or true morals, it creates this internal conflict. Well, I don't want to sacrifice my creativity or my integrity for a mass public fame. I just want to create. So we confuse these external destinations as the validator of who we are. And most oftentimes, creators have a hard time identifying that they are creative no matter what. But they flip the destination with the validity of who they actually are versus who they actually are. I know my voice is going to give out. Versus who they actually are propels them to that space or destination of validation that we all desire and crave for our art. When we're making identity shifts, we have to get very clear about how we used to identify. I used to be someone who was extremely cynical, who would deeply believe that good things can happen for me, or I'd have to struggle intensely before I got there. This was all rooted in my past experiences, the financial struggles I experienced in adolescence and childhood. Things were not easy for me, so that I believe it couldn't be easy. I must struggle, because that was how I identified. All of my actions, choices, patterns, and behaviors aligned to create that reality. Something that I've noticed with a lot of creators, musicians, storytellers, writers, is that they are conditioned to demonize their rhythm. When we stop, when we don't produce, when we haven't produced in a while, we take on this lie that means that there's something wrong with us, or proof or evidence that we aren't a creator or we aren't a real creator. Because of this, creatives downplay how often they do create. Our society's obsession with quick rise to fame or quickness makes us buy into the myth that our art is only valid and purposeful when it is in the eyes of mass public approval. It kind of removes the validation, the power, potency of how we are creative every single moment, every single day in our lives. From the way we spread our beds in the morning, the way that we make breakfast, the way we dress, the way we decorate our homes are all a continuous act of creation. But the more often we don't sit and be present with these micro moments of creation, the more we buy into the illusion that these macro external moments are the destinations that we need. When we're making an identity shift, we got to start identifying with who that is. A lot of the times when we make decisions, our decisions are often from a space of trying to soothe ourselves. When we reach for distractions, we're often trying to soothe our bodies. Anytime you make an identity shift, your nervous system is going to fight you on it. It's unknown, it's fearful, and there's a lot of stories about what it would mean to become that version of yourself. And sometimes we have habits that hold us back because they used to serve a function or meet a need for ourselves. And oftentimes, meeting needs are filled with tons of shame and guilt, so much so that we don't embrace or confront what those habits, choices are that we do in order to soothe ourselves, because they align with an old identity. And we haven't figured out a way to replace meeting those needs with the newer version of ourselves. So if you're about to embark on a new identity shift, I want you to think about that future you. How do they think? What do they tell themselves? And who are they being? This is where a lot of us get tripped up. It's not how much output we do. It is whom we are being, what we are thinking about ourselves, how we identify ourselves. What does that person, whatever that person is, what do they do? How do they wake up? What do they eat, drink, wear? How do they spend their days? When we feel the resistance, oftentimes it's a reach for some sort of care. Learning our rhythmic nature and learning our internal needs will help support us embrace moments of resistance, not as signals that we aren't capable, but invitations to go deeper inward. When this muscle is built, we build evidence and build self-belief that we can create not just the projects that we desire, but also the identity of whom we really want to be and who we can't help but be. If you're a creative and you keep struggling with a stop and start pattern, you get distracted, I want you to remind yourself that rest is necessary and not a signal that you won't create again. This is like the biggest thing I see creatives struggle with most of the time, is that they keep buying into that trap of, I stopped creating, so therefore I am not a creator. You can't help but create. But your brain is struggling with building the evidence because you haven't created in a while. This forms the loop, the stop and start cycle, the I'm gonna try, but then I'm reaching a point where maybe I actually am becoming that thing, and I don't believe that it's safe to be that, or I don't believe I can truly become that, maybe without sacrifice of some value or a fear of what it would mean to become that person. This all gets into safety and feeling safe within ourselves, and also building the capacity in the now versus casting it off to some external thing like a routine, a schedule, equipment, views, the right platform, the right strategy, all those things. Catch my drift? Not that those things are not important. Those are implements and tools that build us, but they can't hold us until the internal part is checked out. I'm a mindset and semantics coach for creatives. If this resonated with you, if you want to go deeper into this work, if you want to build this work, I have applications to work with me one-on-one in the description box. And until next time, you beautiful, lovely people, keep being who you can't help to be.